Okay, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Guy Time Platinum Podcast, special episode number 5. I'm your host, Mr. Matt Kelly, and the birthday man to my far left, Justin Smith. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Good, man. And in the middle, Mr. Tyler White. What's up, brother?
Doing well, hanging in there. Guys ready to talk about some cool shit?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start with some sad news. Don Shula, the old Miami Dolphins head coach, died today at 90 years old. Pretty good life, pretty full life, but he was the head coach of the only undefeated team, the 1972 Miami Dolphins. My question is that the greatest football team of all time?
Oh boy,
Yeah.
That is a good question. That's one
That
of
is a good question.
I was just gonna say it's hard for us to kind of compare them to any team that we've seen because we weren't alive then. So
Mhm.
I think the greatest team we actually saw wound up not even winning the Super Bowl, and that was the Patriots.
Yeah.
In 2007 when they went 16-0 and then lost the Super Bowl to the Giants. So I honestly don't even have an answer. I mean, just from my point earlier that we never saw them play. But I mean, record-wise, obviously, yeah, they are the best all time. But in terms of talent or on paper, I don't know. It's just hard to say.
For me, I look at like a few things here. I look at the fact that the season wasn't as long. If I'm like the regular season,
Right.
I think it was what was the
14.
end of 14? You said.
Yeah, I think it's 14 games regular season.
Yeah. So I mean, like roles were a little bit more relaxed back then. So it's tougher football. It's
Right.
harder of a grind. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's in the 70s, so like about like the steel curtain and how like rough football was then. So like it's hard for me to say because like if the rules were the same as now, like Tyler said, is the talent going to be better than Tom Brady and Randy Moss and all that?
Right.
It's like I don't know, but record wise, it is the only undefeated season ever. So you have to give that. I mean, that has to be. It's like I'm kind of with Tyler because it's like I want to say yeah they are, but at the same time it's like it's different eras. It's like 40 years difference. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like it's hard to.
I think the one argument though is that as good as that Patriots team was, they didn't win the Super Bowl. So I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like they had an incredible season, undefeated and all that stuff up until the biggest part of the season. So them losing, I think that they're up there, but I think you kind of put these Dolphins ahead of them. And I think that what year was the Bears? Was that 1980?
85.
Yeah.
85.
Defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
everybody
that
says
team-
that's the best defense of all time.
Yeah, well, they went 15-1 and won the Super Bowl, and I think their only loss was within like a score, like 7 or 3 points or something like that. So I think that team is definitely up there as well. So, and they dominated people.
Something else that you got to talk about too is like even now, like when we do talk about teams, that Dolphins team always ends up being the bearer, the standard bearer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because I can remember even during that like 2000, what was it, 7? You guys said the Patriots team, like the whole way through the year, like they were interviewing and comparing this team to that team. It's like no matter which way you look at it, they were undefeated, and any team until they break that record is going to be compared to them. So 40 years later, you're still talking about that team. They have to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so other news here is one of the bigger events of the weekend was there's a man who is 6'9" and weighs 425 pounds. And I would say that of the 425, there's probably at least 200 of that is pure muscle, because this guy set the world record for deadlift of 1,104 pounds.
It's crazy.
I thought about this today. Let's say two of us, okay, took both ends. That's 552 pounds. Probably still couldn't do it.
No, we'd need a forklift to pick that
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? Like what?
Yeah.
And like when you saw him lift it, did you see like the bar bend like instantly? Like it looked like it was like rubber. Like when you picked it up, that's how heavy that shit is. Dude.
Yeah,
You know?
it was pretty insane. Hafthor Bjornsson, I believe is his name. He's either Russian or German or something like that. But they used him. He was actually did a role in Game of Thrones. I don't know. I didn't watch the show, so but he was called the Mountain in Game of Thrones.
It's like, I guess we see why.
yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's more than the three of us combined.
Yeah.
That would probably, we'd have to clone ourselves. So there'd be 6 of us, and that's probably how much it would be.
I mean, think about that, dude. So, like, he basically lifted up like a small car, like deadlifted the small car, like one of those like smart cars. He deadlifted. That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy. That's so nuts. Okay, so one of the big things going on right now, well, lack of things going on right now, is that we are coming into summertime and we don't have any baseball right now. But I just saw that Korean baseball will be televised on ESPN here in America. And I believe if you watch it live, because of the time zone, Tyler, what was it? It was like 2 a.m. or something?
I think I saw it was 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
Because they're good like 12 hours ahead of us. So
now this is a pretty big hotbed for talent, to be honest. So I think that these players are pretty good. Justin, will you be watching? Maybe not live.
Yeah, probably not live, but I'm definitely gonna check it out. Like I was hearing, this league that they're having is like basically their like most famous like league in Japan. Like I think it's been around for like 30 or 40 years or something like that. So like, and I was also reading there actually is a lot of like American talent that didn't make it on major league clubs that are over there getting paid. Like I know a couple of Phillies, like Aaron Altair is over there. Ben Lively used to be a Philly. He's over there. So I think there was some other David guy that was also in the Phillies that was also going to be over there. So I mean, it's worth to check out. You know what I mean? It's baseball. You know, and if you're a fan at this point, you know, it's the closest thing to Major League Baseball at the time at this time. So I'm gonna jump all over it. Please check it out for sure.
Yeah, we need something at this point. So I'll definitely be watching it. Probably not live. I'll have to probably DVR it, but you know, I just think that if baseball winds up, God forbid it doesn't come back this year at all. I mean, at least we'll have that. But I mean, even though, I mean, they are really shooting for baseball or Major League Baseball in the U.S. to start in July. So I think July 1st was the date that they're really shooting for. And I heard that June 10th they would resume spring training. And they'll be playing in all the home ballparks with no fans. But so it'll be weird watching baseball on TV without any fans and without any noise. But
so they did decide that it's going to be like they're going to open up the ballparks and just have nobody in there.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying right now, as of right now. But
I mean, it is going to be weird, but at the same time, at least like it'll be moving forward. You know what I mean? Like I said, like in previous, like I think baseball's probably one. I mean, you know, the atmosphere of the crowd, no matter what sport is, it plays a big role. But I feel like baseball's a little bit different than football or hockey as far as the crowd being involved. Like I feel like you could still play a game and it be competitive and be fun to watch with baseball. Whereas like if hockey continued without a crowd, I think that's going to be a little weird. You know what I mean?
I think I also heard of a note that just in general, sports in general being played without fans and some ideas and stuff like that. I was listening to a podcast earlier and the one guy had said, what if we had like during, let's say it's Sunday afternoon and we've got a stadium and, you know, two teams are playing, obviously with fans or whatever, but that because it's live, we could actually have some people maybe live streaming at home, some fans or whatever, and send it to Fox or CBS or whatever. And then like every time something happens, you could cut to someone's house and they can go bonkers or whatever. It's an interesting idea. But,
so it'd be kind of like the draft then, how they did the
Yeah.
draft and then they went to the fans. Like
Yeah.
my question would be too is just like, I know they don't want large crowds, but like, what's preventing you from social distancing at like the stadiums? Just selling less tickets, spreading people out more. Maybe
Yeah.
checking temperatures before they go into the game.
Right.
And, putting them every 3 seats or every whatever it is. You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it's still a crowd, and maybe that's obviously what they're trying to avoid. But still, I feel like you could. It's at least a step in the right direction if you started that way. Who knows? We'll see.
Probably in like stages, you know what I mean? We do empty seats, we do
Yeah.
a few fans, and gradually grow and shit like that. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully, like Tyler said, it's something. So as long I think we're all itching for something right now. So
I agree.
And one more thing with that. Do you guys remember a few years ago, the Orioles, I think,
Yeah.
hosted the White Sox in a game in
Yeah.
Baltimore that there weren't any fans in the stands because of the Baltimore riots happening
Yeah.
the day before, like right around where the ballpark is. I remember tuning into that just to watch like an inning just to see what it was like. Dude, it was so weird. It was so weird. I mean, you can hear just all the players talking. I mean, you could hear like when the batter would adjust his batting gloves, you could hear the Velcro on it. Fucking crazy. It was so crazy.
it would be such a
So,
huge adjustment
Yeah.
as far as the sports though too, because it's like you're talking about baseball and the gloves and things like that, but when it comes to football, another note was for people who are going to watch football and without the fans being there and all that outside noise, is the hitting is going to sound so much louder.
Yeah.
And dude, it's going to be
Yeah.
awesome. Like that shit's going to be great.
I want to hear it when they argue with umpires.
Yeah.
I
It's gonna
mean,
be awesome.
I guess one of the good things would be that it's only going to be a temporary thing. So like even if it is super awkward, at least we're getting some entertainment. Plus we
Yeah.
know it's going to be temporary. So that's a good thought. But it is a step in the right direction. I'm really excited that all sports are really starting to talk about reopening. Like I even saw something from LeBron because they were talking, I guess, like they were saying like, hey, like they might not have a season at all. LeBron's like, not this way. Like none of the players are talking like that. Like we're gonna get this done. You know what I mean? Which that's perfect. You know what I mean? Like that's what we want as fans. That's what we need as fans to get back to normal is this. So and that's what they get paid for. They get paid to be role models and do things like this for fans. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm ready.
And I think in 2 weeks, I know none of us really watch this, but I think NASCAR is actually starting up again in 2 weeks,
Saw that.
but without fans. But I mean, like I said, none of us really follow that, but still, it's something in the right direction. So
Yeah.
I believe I also saw that there's a UFC event coming up too that they're really going through with. So
I did hear
it should
about
be
that too.
entertaining.
The May event or whatever. I forget the date, but I think it might be in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I saw that they were no fans or whatever. But yeah, it's good to see, like you said, Justin. It's good to see everybody kind of making steps towards coming back. So
Just to point out, sorry to cut you off, but just to point out too, I don't know if you guys saw the video of Mike Tyson at all hitting the bags.
yeah,
Oh my god, dude. I still would not want to see that guy in an alleyway. Even if I had a gun, I'm still running the other way.
I told a coworker today, I was like, I think Tyson puts out like a little short clip of him sparring or something like once a year, and it scares the shit out of everybody every time because he is so compact and so quick and powerful. It's so fucking scary. It's crazy, dude.
Like I watched him, like he was hitting like the dude had like the pads on his hands, and like literally like he hit so hard you couldn't see the dude's hand there. Like it looked like he was just punching air, but it was because he already hit the dude's hand out of the way. I was like, damn. It's crazy, dude.
In his 50s too, right?
Yeah,
isn't he like
for sure.
mid-50s?
I mean, the guy can't, I wouldn't want to see him in a boxing match or nothing like that. Just the fact that he still has that right. I mean, I guess you never get rid of the right hand, but still, hands are just unbelievably. You can feel the strength by watching a video of how strong he is. You know, that's nuts, dude.
I got a concussion after I watched it.
He's like, oh shit, I felt that. Okay, moving on here. One of the bigger signings of the NFL offseason was, as we continue the offseason for football, is Andy Dalton. The former Cincinnati Bengals quarterback signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Does anybody know the specs on that? I think it was like 1 year for like $8 million or something.
Yeah, I think it was for $7 million.
Okay.
For a year. I don't know, man. That's they needed a backup. I mean, that's for sure. They definitely needed a solid backup. But I just think it's funny that they keep bringing more pieces to Dallas and not signing your quarterback. You know, I just think, like, to me, I feel like it's the complete opposite of what you should do. Like, I feel like you should start with your quarterback if you feel like this is why I think that I don't really feel like they think that he's the highest paid quarterback franchise kind of guy, because like you're paying everyone around him and you're putting pieces still to stay there for the long term in Dallas, and you haven't been signed to a long-term deal yet. I mean, I know it'll probably end up getting done, but for me, it's just like, I think they have doubt in the back of their heads, because otherwise, why do you pay everyone else around you and get more weapons in the draft and not sign your franchise quarterback? And also Andy Dalton, he started in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? So there's no, it has to be behind you. I mean, if you're Dak, you didn't sign a long-term deal, and then they bring in a guy that used to be a starter his entire career. Like, I would be worried a little bit. I mean, I think so anyway.
Yeah, I think it's pretty disrespectful towards Dak that they haven't, signed a long-term deal yet. But I mean, because the one thing he has had more than anything is durability. I mean, I don't think he's missed a game. So, and to sign a backup quarterback for $7 million, for 1 year, when there's a good chance he's not going to play at all, considering Dak has played in every single game. I mean, everybody's, talking about how Carson Wentz should be confused about them drafting Jalen Hurts, and he should be. But Dak Prescott is kind of in the same boat as him right now. But
I just don't think, in my opinion, Dak has proved himself to get like $40 million a year. Wasn't that like he turned down 35 or 32 or something like that, dude? Like what, 2 playoff games I think he's been in, right? And has he won? I don't think he's won any of those playoff games. So like, it's like, or maybe what, one? I think they won one.
One or two, yeah.
And like, you just, I don't know. It's just, to me, it just seems like it's not. Like, I agree with you, Tyler. I do think it's disrespectful. It just seems like they're not sold. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. I don't know if the deal is going to get done, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, but they've put a lot of great pieces around him too. So I mean, he can survive not being the best quarterback in the league. I mean, he can be, top 15, maybe even top 20. I would probably put him higher in top 20. But even if he was only top 20, I mean, with all the weapons they have,
do you pay him that much though? I mean,
no, not that much. You don't get 40, 35. I mean, 30.
You know what I mean? So that's where they're at right now. It's now like, okay, so now what happens? Like, if he goes out this year and Dallas doesn't win the division with all the weapons they put around him, and he's still playing on that 1 year deal for a long-term deal, and he plays halfway decent with all them weapons, that brings even more doubt. You know what I mean? To an already not sold. I don't know. I just think like there is a possibility that like you could look elsewhere than Dak Prescott for sure. Like after this season, I think he's signed this season, right? And then he's a free agent, I believe. I think it's a very good possibility that he could play somewhere else. Dude, honestly, I do.
Yeah. Okay, so the lack of signing is the next story here. Would be Cam Newton has decided that he would not want to sign a contract to be a backup quarterback in the NFL. I think the only contract he would be looking for would be a starter's job. So honestly, with the Dalton news and Cam Newton saying that it makes me actually think about the New England Patriots as to why they're. I mean, is Stidham all that great? I mean, we haven't really seen much of him. So, like, how doesn't New England jump on Cam Newton or Andy Dalton at this point? I mean, that's a different story. But do you guys think that Cam Newton should settle for a backup, or what do you? What do you
I
think?
don't. I don't think he should. I mean, his track record speaks for itself. I mean, he's had a lot of success. And how many quarterbacks have you seen of his size be able to move like that? I mean, he's what, like 6'5", 250 pounds or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him. I wouldn't accept a backup job anywhere. I've always thought during this whole thing that Jacksonville would probably be a good place for him because I don't know if they're sold on Gardner Minshew. And Nick Foles is gone. He's in Chicago now. New England would definitely be interesting. I mean, I don't know if his personality, I mean, he does have a slight attitude problem. I don't know if Bill Belichick and all those guys up there would tolerate all that. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, Washington would be interesting too. I mean, with his former head coach Ron Rivera, even because I don't know if they're sold on Dwayne Haskins, even though he's only played 1 year.
That was
I
actually.
don't think he's really that good, but I mean, those are all possibilities.
That was actually a rumor that I was hearing was Washington because of Ron Rivera being there, him going back there. In my opinion, I honestly, I think he's going to be watching a lot of football from his couch if he holds out. Because, if I'm not mistaken, last year didn't he have a serious foot injury that ended up knocking him out pretty much the whole season? I believe it was. And then he's had some injury issues, and I think he got to prove. I think he's on I know his track record speaks for himself, but he also has a track record of not hustling in the Super Bowl and not going for fumbles when he should be going. I just think maybe he should take a backup role and maybe, reestablish the market for him. You know what I mean? Maybe take a 1-year deal, sit behind somebody, hopefully, obviously put yourself in a good situation. Like, I think obviously New England would be a good situation. I also agree with you, Tyler. I think, Jacksonville would be, he's going to need to sign if he does do backup, which it doesn't sound like he wants to. He's going to wait for injuries. But if he does, it's got to be a situation where he maybe can slide in there and just take that job over. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go and be a backup for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, or I wouldn't go be a backup for Drew Brees or anything like that. I'd put myself in a decent situation, but you're not going to get if you were going to get a starting job, you already would have gotten it. I mean, before the draft came. You know what I mean? And then the thing with New England, though, is like New England obviously feels good about their quarterbacks because they traded out of the first round, right? I mean, they had an opportunity sitting there to get like a quarterback if they really wanted to. So they might be sold on him. But I at this point, I kind of feel like that's the most likely definitely good situation for him would be New England because I think he'd be able to have a chance to start and play well enough to take over that starting job. At least have an open competition. Like off the top of my head, I can't think of really any teams at this point that has like a position where it'd be an open, quarterback situation. Like I don't know what they're doing in like Pittsburgh either. Like Ben Roethlisberger has to have like 1 or 2 more years if he even comes back. Like he had Tommy John, I believe, on that hand or on the elbow. Yeah. So and you didn't draft nobody. So I mean that's another destination that I could potentially, if Ben's not ready to play. I mean, who do you have behind him? That's another place you could slide right in there because at this point he's looking for injuries. For starting quarterbacks to get injured and he can slide in and play. That's the situation he's looking at right now because he ain't going to get a starting position right now at this moment right now.
On a side note, did you guys see the rumors that Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay?
And I don't blame him.
He would go to the Patriots. Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers with the Patriots?
I mean, it's amazing.
It sounds crazy, but I don't think it's completely impossible. I mean,
do you think that the whole Matt LaFleur coming in and being the new head coach, do you think that has a little bit to do with this whole animosity thing towards Aaron Rodgers? Because it kind of sounds like, to me, by them drafting Jordan Love, it was like Matt LaFleur saying, like, this is my team. And, like, you know how, like, new coaches come in and they don't like to – I mean, I know it's Aaron Rodgers. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But, like, I know how some coaches like to come in and just clean house. Just get rid of everybody and just start over. Like, I'm kind of starting to lean like towards that with this Jordan Love. I mean, you traded up, so he's got to be your starter. You can't sit there for 3 years. That's crazy. Nobody does that anymore. You know what I mean? I think the last time that somebody did do that, it was Aaron Rodgers.
It was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
All right. So let's move on to, I got a decent trivia question here. So we're down to about 6 minutes here. So my trivia question is, who is the only NFL team to neither host nor play in a Super Bowl?
Oh boy.
either play.
There's a handful of teams that haven't played, but some have actually hosted.
So we're saying like they didn't host or play.
Right?
I'm gonna say Detroit.
Okay.
I am going to say, wow. You know what? I have no freaking idea. How about Houston?
Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
No, neither of those are right. I remember actually both of those stadiums hosting a Super Bowl, but the answer is actually the Cleveland Browns.
Ah, well,
Not surprising.
It was like a trick question almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really surprised. All right, so gentlemen, a couple minutes left here. What are we drinking? What do we got?
I am sticking with the always
The
platinum, buddy.
Still.
Platinum right there, buddy.
All right, Tyler.
Well, for the third episode in a row at Rolling Rock.
Okay.
I have half a case in my fridge, so it'll be Rolling Rock for a while.
I've got Molson.
Oh yeah.
Big Ed Molson.
The can is odd. I've never seen the can before, but yeah, Molson.
It does look odd.
Is it like a throwback? Kind of, yeah, it does look different.
It almost looks like a Coca-Cola thing. I don't know.
It does, yeah. But it's Canadian.
Yeah. All right. So that's all I've got. What do we have here? We've got appreciate everybody for listening. And we've got anybody who's got any ideas, any topics, anything like that, you want to email us, guytimepodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can contact us as well. It's at GuyTimePlatPod. This YouTube channel that you're probably watching on is the Guy Time Platinum Podcast. And Justin, one more time, what's the Facebook?
It's Guy Time Platinum Podcast 2020. It's on Facebook. So like the page, listen to all the videos on there. We have all the videos that we have on YouTube on there too. So check us out. And like Matt said, if you have any ideas, put it on there, message us on there, or email us, let us know. We'll touch base on it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
All right. See you guys.